Hey guys, Kenzie here, again hosting the Team Sizzle for Romy and Mark. I had the privilege to see Miss Romy this last week. She was in town at La Terrence for Thanksgiving, and so I kid you not, I bombarded her hair appointment because my sister, lo and behold, cuts Romy's hair. So I just happened to know where she'd be, and I gave her a little stop by, a little check-in. So she sends her love, and I also admitted to her everything that I have been giving away, and she's good with it. But she did ask if we'd keep the secret from Mark. So just so you know, it's also still a Mark secret. So tonight I asked Natalie and Burke to share with us and talk to us a little bit about vision. Vision, maybe from where you started, Burke, maybe kind of what I had in mind was I think a lot of us get to a point where we have a vision maybe to pay for some groceries or pay for a car payment or make our husbands not work so much or just pay for our kids to be able to go to gymnastics. And how do we grow that vision to the next vision? And when you get to that place, how do you continue to expand? I haven't spent a lot of time with Natalie. We're really good online friends. And she shared with us a couple sizzles ago, one of the last sizzles that she did, about how I believe you guys were living with in-laws. Things have gone south. We were living with in-laws. Yeah. So my question is, how do we go from living with in-laws to yacht shopping and planning out ocean routes? So inspire us, Burke, and tell us your secrets and your ways.
Oh, that's crazy. Honestly, when you take me back to that point where we were living in the basement, our daughter had actually turned a large closet into a bedroom in the house because there weren't enough bedrooms in the in-laws basement. But I guess I should start by saying I apologize that Natalie's not here. I know that's a letdown. She's the better 99.9% of this relationship. So, but she just an hour ago said, I've got to get in the tub. Something's not right. And she did, and she came out and she actually has a rash all over her that, so she's on the keto diet. She started that about 10 days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And anyway, she just started Googling, and it sounds like it's associated with that, but it's got her pretty freaked out. So, and rightfully so. So she's dealing with that right now. So, so she couldn't get on. So I hope you'll forgive her and be okay with me. So Kenzie, thank you for inviting us. I love this team and I love these people, and it's good to be with you. In the craziness of life, sometimes we go a while before we talk and chat and get to see everybody on the team, and it's just so good to get back with these people that we love and have been with for so long, done so much with, and just love it. So back to, most of you have heard this story, so I don't know really if it's worth telling in detail, but when we started this, we started it for the purpose of helping our daughter, who was extremely ill. But at the same time, we were stuck in that mess of 2008 and the economic collapse. And I was in the construction industry, and that was obviously hit pretty hard. And so we like to share how Boyd and Sandy and Chris and Karina would constantly be after us to join doTERRA, and we would send them away week after week, not wanting to be involved with the network marketing company. Little did we realize that as we prayed every night and day for answers to our daughter's health and to our financial situation, that answer was coming via those people knocking on our door. And thankfully they persisted, and things have worked out how they have. But we came not just for the products, although that was the main reason. Once Natalie realized, hey, I can chip in and help with the financial situation, maybe take some stress off, so I won't have to go find another job or a job. And, started out with the vision being really quite limited to, hey, if I can just get this $1,500 bonus, that's going to alleviate a lot of stress around our house. And so her vision was, and the vision she shared with me was just, look, I'm going to do this to take a little bit of pressure off. And that was really the vision. Now, the vision, that seemed like a big leap because we'd never done anything like this before. Quite frankly, we were opposed to network marketing in general. And so while that, looking back, may seem like a small vision, it was huge at the time. And that's one thing about vision that you've got to understand is when you create a vision, and it's important that you create a vision. It's important looking back. These are things we've learned over the years, okay? And we weren't good at this to start with, but you've really got to create a vision, not just for you, but for your entire team. And one of the most important things you can do with that vision is to, first of all, be clear about it, okay? Really visualize it. Maybe some of you have heard us talk about or refer to vast visioneering, which is visual, audible, smell, and touch. So when you create a vision of you reaching this destination that you've got in mind and being there, what does it really feel like? What are your senses saying to you as you're sitting in that moment? And maybe that vision is, I'm going to have 100 people with me at leadership retreat next year. What does that feel like to sit in that room with the sights of people on stage, the people around you who you love? What are the sounds going on? What does it smell like in the room as they diffuse oils in that big conference center? And what does it feel like? What are the touches and the things going on? What does that really feel like? That's what your vision has got to be. The second thing that vision has got to include and be is big, okay? If your vision is to be an elite, that's not going to inspire your team, okay? That might be a starting point for you, but if your vision is not big enough, no one's going to follow you. It's got to be big. And I think back to the starting days of doTERRA, and there were a couple of people who really understood this better than anyone else. And they today have the biggest doTERRA team out of anyone, and that's Andy and Natalie Goddard. And their vision and the thing that they shared with everyone was a healer in every home. Now that sounds crazy, right? A healer in every home. Really? You're going to have a healer in every home in the world? Well, to the people who wanted that, it wasn't big enough. I mean, it drove them. It was something so grand, and they wanted to be a part of it. Whereas if their vision had been, we want a healer in 12 homes in the neighborhood, so what? No one would have cared. The vision that you create for you and your team has got to be big. Boldness has genius in it, okay? And magic and power in it. So be bold. When you think of the greatest leaders out there in any industry, it's because they're not limited in their vision and what they want to accomplish. So make sure that your vision is big. And like ours, that started with just the $1,500 bonus, unbeknownst to us, we needed to have a bigger vision. We really needed to be declaring that we wanted big things for us and for those that came with us and partnered with us. So I just really encourage you after this call to go sit back and think and write down, what is my vision? What do I want? Why am I doing this? Okay. And that is your final destination. How you go about that is your journey. Okay. The way that you get there, which is ever changing, I would say, that's the journey. But your vision is that final destination of where you're really going to end up and what you're going to be surrounded by and what that visually, audibly feels like, smells like, tastes like, touches like, what that's what that's got to be ingrained in your head. And so we've gone from this vision of, you know, just getting started, living in our in-laws' basement, to, as Kenzie mentioned, we just signed a contract for a yacht, basically a 50-foot sailboat, okay, a catamaran. Now, I live in the desert. My experience with catamarans is I've been on 3, maybe 4 little tours in Jamaica with some of you. We were there and went out on a boat with Mark and Romy. Kauai, Costa Rica, trying to think where else. Maybe just 3 times in my life I've been on Cancun, and so 5. I've been on 5 catamarans in my life. I've never been at the helm. I've never sailed or been in charge. I've just been a passenger. But a year ago, we had a neighbor who told us that their brother had sold everything and was going to go buy a sailboat with their family and sail around the world. And my initial thought was, that's the stupidest thing anyone could ever do. I thought, you're crazy. You don't take your family out on the ocean. It's dangerous. It's crazy. But it intrigued me. And so I started looking into it more and more. And I started watching some YouTube videos and studying, you know, the safety factor and all those things. And as I did that, something happened. I was looking at the globe one day, and the enormity of the world just kind of set in. And I just realized how amazing it would be to be that little speck out on that big, vast ocean. Both, you know, it would create a lot of anxiety, but at the same time, it would be conquering something. And so it just created this vision of doing something that I had never in my life dreamed of doing. And as we created that vision, we started to take big steps in making it happen. And to the point where we finally signed a contract. And we have a lot of other big steps that have to happen in the next year and a half before that boat gets to Florida. I have to learn to sail. We have to arrange a lot of things in our life to be able to go do this. But because we have now this big vision, and it's exciting and it's a little overwhelming, it's pushing us to do things we never would have done if we hadn't set that out in front of us. So when you create that vision, it's got to be something that excites you, that drives you to do things you never would have done otherwise. And if it's, you know, Natalie will say this over and over again, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough. What is it that you really want to accomplish? And then what does it feel like to sit there surrounded by your family and your friends, knowing that you did it? So there's 4 principles of vision that I think we need to really focus on. And that's, be clear about it, okay? Dream big, be bold in what that vision really looks like. And then you've got to communicate a strong urgency, okay? if you're talking about vision for you and your team, you've got to create urgency. And the reason is success loves speed. Okay. And the longer you drag this out, the less inspiring it becomes to those watching you. Okay. You know, the be the buffalo story. Okay. Turn into the storm, walk into it. The storm passes quicker, as opposed to being a cow who walks away from the storm and the storm just follows them and they're in the same storm, but they're just in it for longer. Success loves speed. And some of you have probably seen this. We've seen it throughout our journey where at times where we're not creating urgency and doing things that inspire, people lose interest quickly. And there's a lot of people sitting on the sidelines watching you and seeing what your energy level is and whether or not you're really working hard and fast at making this happen. Because they want to be a part of that. They want to be a part of something big and moving and motivating. So make sure it's bold. And then the last one would be to set strategic goals to reach that. And that's part of that journey portion where you kind of break down where you're going and really set goals of how you're gonna get there. Aside from that, if there's questions you guys have, I'd love to hear them, or comments. But I just, your vision has just got to be big, and it's got to be bigger than what probably you've imagined right now. So I would encourage you to take 20 minutes tomorrow morning and just meditate on what your vision is, what it looks like, what that final destination is, and then how you're going to get there, who you're going to include in that. And hopefully it's your whole team. But, learning to be a leader who inspires is a process. Okay. Don't beat yourself down if you don't feel like you're that person. I'm still trying to be that person 10 years later, right? But you never get there if you don't start taking those steps. So identify what your vision is and start making a plan of how you're going to achieve it. And then just don't let anything stop your momentum and get you slowed down. So anyway, anything else you can think of, Kenzie, that I can cover here?
I love it. I think one thing that I see, and we've talked about a lot on Sizzles, is sometimes we catch a vision and we think, okay, this is the vision, and it's uncomfortable, right? Like maybe that vision is diamond, and that feels really big and really scary. And sometimes we go to work for that, and it's almost like a forced thing, and we end up kind of running over ourselves, if that makes sense. How do you set your vision and then work towards the intention without trying to control, I guess? Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes we have this vision and then we try to control of when that's going to happen. How can you set the vision and let life bring that to you? Do you have anything on that?
Well, I think as you say that, I think it reminds me of that graphic that we see float around sometimes. And what's the difference in a boss and a leader, right? And the boss is sitting at the desk kind of whipping the people pulling them along. And the leader is the one out in front pulling, saying, come on and let's go. So it really comes down to the tasks you're going to do are going to have to be the same to go from point A to point B. The difference is going to be what's your attitude about doing those tasks and what kind of flow are you bringing to it. And if you're stressed out and critical of your downline and the people doing things, not doing enough, I can't get these people to do this. Well, maybe they're not the people to do it, and you've got to change the flow from trying to get the people that you currently have to do what you want them to do, to finding the people that actually want to run with you. and who want to be included in your vision. And so create a vision of what you want you and your team to accomplish together. I remember one that Romy had a couple of years ago that it really drove the team. And it was, she wanted to have 100 diamonds at, I think it was at the Truman Retreat, and it was a year away. And that was a crazy big vision. But I just remember how exciting it was. And there was a lot of people, there was a lot of movement during that time, because Romy was so fired up and so excited, and just the energy was so good. And so, you know, Romy's really good at doing these things, and she's had, you know, different things along the way that have been very motivating and inspiring to the whole team. And so, and she's a great communicator of that, and people want to follow her because she has big dreams and big vision. And so I just think it when you're talking about, you know, instead of driving people to do it or make it feel forced, it really comes down to finding the right vision, because then you'll get up every morning excited to go do it and excited to do those tasks that have to happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of you have heard me tell the burn the boat story about Hernando Cortez. And, you know, in that story, we talked about how he went and captured a treasure that many had tried to several times. But one of the differences was he personalized that message to the people he went to and said, come join me. You know, he talked to them about what this treasure would mean to them and their posterity and their kids and their grandkids, and how it would change their lives, and really spoke to different people in different ways, because, you know, everyone's got a little different motivator in them. And so just a blanket statement doesn't always work. But so sharing that vision as you talk to your team members and try and inspire them, make sure you know what makes them tick and what drives them.
Awesome. I got a feeling there's some questions, guys. If you have questions, please unmute.
Yes. So when you have a vision, I used to listen to you, Burke, and it all sounded great, but I envisioned diamond.
Yeah.
That wasn't working for me at all. Now I have a vision that I'm going to have done by next May, the end of May. Iris's Worldwide Thrivers, a nonprofit. And that has changed everything, because I'm striving to help other stroke survivors. And I'm not thinking so much about what's happening, but in that time, in the last 2 or 3 months, I've got Chrissy, I've got Carmen, I've got these builders now that are going places.
Yep.
And so it isn't always what you are going to do, but what you will help others do.
Absolutely. So let's always remember, if you don't take anything else away tonight, take this away. No one on here that I know of, certainly not me, cares about being the highest ranked individual in doTERRA. Okay? And if that is your vision, no one's coming with you. No one. But if your vision includes whatever it is, like you're talking about, Iris, doTERRA is a tool to help you achieve that goal, right? With the blessings that doTERRA can bring into your life, you can have the means to go do these other things. doTERRA is just a vehicle to do great things, okay? And you'll do great things in along the way with doTERRA and within your team, and you'll see lives blessed. But it's a vehicle to get to where you want to be. It's not the end result. If your goal is to be the highest ranked doTERRA consultant, then it's probably not going to inspire a lot of people because it's all about you. So I love that, Iris. And that's what happens. You're going with the flow and with your really divine purpose in this life. You found it, and it's motivating you. I bet you get out of bed every morning with just a fire to go do the tasks that will get you to that destination.
Yeah, that's very true.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you. Because I've had to listen to this speech for several times, and now it's finally making sense.
Good. Well, another key is that you've stuck around and listened long enough for it to make sense. And that's what a lot of people won't do. So you're awesome.
So are you.
Thanks for your share, Iris. Who else has a question for Burke about vision, or wants to share their vision, or has an idea, or who's sitting here thinking, I'm too scared to have a vision? Like, whoa, this might be too much.
Isn't it crazy that we spend more time, you think about this, all of you, you probably spent more time thinking about what you were going to wear today or what you were going to have for lunch than you did about what your life should look like, what you want your life to really look like. That's the saddest thing in this life for all of us, is that we spend more time worrying about the little things than we do putting any thought into how we want our life really to look. And that's why I say, if you'll take 20 minutes tomorrow morning and really meditate on what you want your life to look like, it'll change things, because most people don't ever do that. Ever. In their entire life, they don't spend 20 minutes laying out a plan. It's just get up, do the things they've done a million times before, and wash, rinse, and repeat the next day. So, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
So, I'd love to hear some visions or some aspirations that are driving people. If anyone's got some to share, it's one of my favorite things is to hear what gets you up in the morning.
Yes, I want to hear it too. Who wants to share their vision?
I'm going to call on somebody. Tracy Black.
Yes. I'm unmuting you, Tracy. Speak to us.
Oh, dude. You're so getting the dude now.
Good.
Oh, man. Because I think it's easy to get caught up in rank, okay? Becoming silver, becoming diamond, whatever. And you do really have to look, beyond that into, the deeper meaning, for what you want your life to be, kind of thing. And so much of what you're saying right now is really kind of gelling, because I think it's easy to forget how to dream, okay? And it's easy to forget or not look past anything that's just that day-to-day survival,
Yeah.
I got to do laundry, or I got to get the kids to school, or I got to, so-and-so's got to go here, there, or wherever. And to think, beyond that. Okay. So this brings up a question. What is your vision? You have a vision beyond the boat. Okay. So what's the deeper vision?
Wait, we asked you to share your vision.
I know, so I'm so much better at deflecting. I'm a really good deflector. Yeah.
I'll tell you mine.
Yeah, I know. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one.
So you've got 20 minutes tomorrow morning to
I do.
do some
Yeah.
thinking, right? Or tonight. So
That's right.
So my bigger vision after the boat's a temporary thing, right? It's just part of the life experiences. But obviously just my bigger vision and our bigger vision is to pass along and create a life where our kids get to experience what we've learned, how to dream, how to chase those dreams, how to let the little things in the box that the world puts you in be pushed aside at an earlier age so that they can experience this freedom, this chance to really live life, to give back, to do all these things that we're so enjoying right now. My bigger vision is to have them do that 20 years sooner than we got to do it. I feel like everything we do, even this boat, is something that inspires our kids to not stay inside the box. And that's what I want. And then I want them to pass that on to my grandkids at an even earlier age, so that they never lose that creative, youthful exuberance and excitement for life. Our system is screwed up right now. And there's studies out there that show the activity of a child's brain, and then how that just decreases over time and age, because the steps are all laid out, and you're supposed to go to school, which is fine if you want to go to school. I went to school, okay, whatever. But that's not the only path, and we've got to start expanding our minds beyond that. So that's our big vision, is to create the life that helps our kids achieve that at a younger age, and our grandkids at an even younger age. So we hope that we live a life that does that, and the boat's part of that. So, all right, Cancino. You're up.
Let me unmute myself. I was sitting here thinking, don't call on me, because my story's sad. My vision's sad. I had a vision for a really, really long time as I built my way to where I am now, and that was to be with my family more. I mean, I started off with doTERRA thinking, I'm going to have my own business so that I don't have to work for the man, right? So I was going to be a mom boss. Meanwhile, my husband was a touring musician, and he was gone 250 days out of the year, which was awful for a mom with small kids. And all I wanted to do was be with him. So my vision was, I'm going to get to a place where we can buy our own tour bus, and we can just go with Dad everywhere and be this happy family. And then, I don't know, recently, like the last year or two, it's fallen on me like a ton of bricks that that's not what he wants. Like, I don't know, we're not really having the best time right now, and we're struggling. And so now my visions are changing. Now I'm like, I still want these things. I still want like an RV, so to speak. I have a hot air balloon on my vision board because I freaking want a hot air balloon all over the world. Dream big. And so like right now, my vision is just trying to get my husband on board with any one of the things on my vision board would be great. And I'm in this stuck place where it's like, okay, so I'm dreaming for myself right now. And my vision is put on pull up my britches and be the big girl. And so I'm rewriting my vision right now. And the brutal, cold, hard truth is I don't know if my husband is in that future vision. So things are shaky right now. But thank God I have doTERRA, because it is empowering. I can really write my vision the way I want to, and I don't have to worry about a boss or a career or a job or a 9-to-5 or all these things holding me down. I can really do whatever I want. So the only thing holding me back right now is, what do I really want now?
And it breaks my heart to hear that, because I know every marriage goes through that stuff, right? It's just tough, and I don't know what your outcome is, but we, through the years, have seen, friends in doTERRA who have had marriages that have weathered a lot of storms and come out on the other end better or stronger, whatever. But we've seen them where they haven't. And thankfully, in those cases, like you're talking about, there's not the stress of financial that would be on top of everything else.
Right.
And then we have friends who wouldn't join us in doTERRA who've gone through the same things, and to watch them not have any options is really, it's a lot sadder. So I will be praying for you. Whatever outcome, I hope is best for all of you. But
thank you. It's the easy part is that my vision along with that is sharing what I have with other people, like options and, ways to escape situations that you're not happy in. Like doTERRA can provide that. So what floats my boat is when I get texts from my mom friends that are like, oh my gosh, I'm going fishing with my kids on a Wednesday night and I'm not at work right now. Thankful for my doTERRA paycheck. And so like, that's my vision. I want to do that for every single person I come across. So that keeps me going.
Look, and there's so much to be said for empowering, especially women, to be able. One thing I tell my kids, and those of you who heard us speak at leadership a few years ago heard me say this: options equal power. And when you have options, the power is in your court, because then you can make decisions that are best for you, and you're not forced into doing things really against your will. So options equal power. And when you create a business that gives you options, you are also creating a lot of power for yourself. So good stuff. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, that was a great share, Jen. Thank you very much, Jennifer. With that, I just want to say too, one, I think it's awesome that we can all be so real on these calls, right? Would have been so easy for her to just say something quick and easy and move on. And the other thing is, especially with vision, honor the struggle. Whenever you meet someone who has overcome or reached that goal, there's been this struggle, right? They've overcome. They've been to their breaking place. I've never met anyone who didn't get where they wanted to be by not struggling, right? Yeah. Change in your path of how you get to the best version of yourself. There's struggle in that, and just honor it. That's where the magic really is. And even when you get to the place of your story where it's great, that's the part you talk about. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, we were struggling and this is what happened. Do you know what I mean? That struggle looks different for all of us. But there's a place where we say enough, and then life gets better. We decide this is it, and then we take that leap. So thank you so much for sharing. I loved that. Did that stir up anything for anyone else who has a share or wants to talk about their struggle or their vision?
Cheney.
Hey,
What's up?
I don't know if you can see me. I'm in the carpool line at dance at 9:46 in St. Louis. It's a whopping 22 degrees.
Ugh, yuck.
Yeah, doesn't that sound amazing? So I wanted to share a couple things. Do you remember at waiting for the limo when I walked up to you and I said, I really didn't think I was going to be here?
Yeah.
And I kind of have like always had this little doTERRA denial going on because I don't really like to do hard things or big things. And I really don't like to put myself out there. And I really am, unfortunately, like taking the lazy road of like getting out there and teaching classes and doing things. And a couple weeks ago, Karina asked me to do a live for the Sizzle today. And I avoided her message for I don't know, a couple hours. and I originally said, no way, I don't do lives. I'm not. That's, you picked the wrong person. And then I thought to myself, this is what when I went up to you at waiting for the limo, you said, when are you going to get out of denial? When are you going to realize that you've been here 4 years in a row now, and you've been to leadership. When are you going to accept that you are like the real doTERRA person and that you have something to offer? And then when we did that, what was it called? The Strengths Finder, mine was influencer. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then today, my neighbor Amy and we did the Sizzle about holiday gifts, and I felt really nervous. I wanted to back out. I didn't want to do it. I did it, came home and watched it with my husband and my kids. And Amy and I were freaking hilarious. We were so fun. We should have been like Hoda and Kathy Lee, because we just had great dynamic. And then I really thought about that. Like, I do have an influence to give. I do have things to share, and I need to get off my hiney and share them with people. So that's all I have to add.
Finally.
Hallelujah.
Finally. I think it's so interesting that we can't see in ourselves sometimes, or we deny the talents that we have. Because I honestly, like, the first time I met you, I was like, that girl is freaking Blue Diamond in a year. Like, you have it, and
I just need to do it.
you do, because you are an influencer, and I see that with your team. They love to be around you. They love to be with you. They'll follow you anywhere. And if you create a vision that speaks to them and you as a team, yeah, sky's the limit. The other thing I'd throw in here, listening to Jen and Kenzie, we do all have struggles. No one gets through this life without them. But as you look at this screen, and then you go look at the pictures from convention or whatever, you start to realize, man, what if you didn't know this doTERRA family? What would be different in your life if you didn't know these people? And it's scary to think, man, what if I had passed up the chance to get involved with this community of people? Because look, the oils are amazing. The compensation is amazing. But the community is actually better than both of those.
Right.
It really is. And what a blessing. I just, to weather life storms with this family, this doTERRA family, makes everything better. And so I hope you'll just look around and realize what a blessing it is. And, if maybe your vision needs to include bringing more people into this family. I mean, the lives that it blesses just by being a part of it is amazing. And like Melissa said, she'd probably be dead. Melissa's been through a ton, and I know she's added a lot to this doTERRA family, and she's been blessed by it. And I think every one of us could say that we've brought our best to it at times, and sometimes we needed to take other people's best to keep us going. So anything else? You guys are awesome. Neil, awesome.
Crystal, actually.
Crystal, all right, Crystal.
I love this call for several reasons. One, Iris said some things that I was like, oh my gosh, that's so me, because I don't identify exactly with a rank. That's not ever where my dream was. And so Romy a while back suggested that we need to start dreaming. And I was like, I don't dream. I don't have dreams. That was not where I was in my journey in my life. And so it's very hard for me to do that. And so anybody who's thinking that, you're not alone. Just wanted to share that. And Tracy said that same thing. It's hard for her because it's always about that day-to-day stuff, right? And so I totally fly by the seat of my pants, and Neil has to rein me in. And he's the visionary. And literally like 5 minutes before I'm supposed to walk out the door, he's like, but where are your mantras? Are you saying positive affirmations? Are you doing this? And I love him, and he's awesome. But he does. I'm like, right now?
Good job, Neil.
But he really, I need that. And so just this call is a good reminder to take that 20 minutes and really think about it. And even if it's a few minutes here or there, that's kind of more how I am. And I do dream now because of this team, and never before in my life. I grew up in a very poor, very difficult childhood. Never in my life would I ever imagine I am where I am now. And in going through that defense mechanism comes where you don't allow yourself to do that, to have hope. And just breaking past that and all the personal growth that this team pushes you through. Honestly, that's one of my biggest parts of my vision, is to just watch people come through their life and become who they're meant to be. No matter what the monetary value comes with that. It's just, I think that personal growth is much more impactful and worthy than the money. And I want to see every country. I want to travel like crazy. Neil already, we already sold everything and we went into an RV. It was a wonderful decision. It was so fun. Now we're back to the brick and mortar, and our RV's in the back, and I still want to be in it. I still dread it, but it's kind of taking life as it comes and accepting it and going with the flow. And like Kenzie said, don't force it, because that freedom that comes with just the peace when you just say, okay, it's going to happen, and trusting in the Lord to know that it will happen in His time. And Neil, in that RV trip, bought a book about sailing. He's like, we're going to sail. We're going to sell this and we're going to sail. And I was like, we have 4 kids. They don't even know how to swim. So he is definitely that visionary. But I also knew we can do it. So it's just about saying it and letting it happen. So those tiny goals, and I don't know.
That's awesome.
And I think your vision can change continually, right? So ours has just continued to change and grow. When we started doTERRA about the same time that we decided we're going to sell everything and move into an RV, because like you said, Burke, we have this vision of our kids not being in that box of experiencing something different and growing. And so we wanted to make a couple $100 extra so that we could afford to travel and afford to live in our RV. And that was our vision at the time. And as we've achieved that vision, of course, we've through the personal growth that we've experienced, we've continued to grow that vision larger and larger. and we continue to say yes to things that we probably would have said no to before. That's been a huge area of growth. Is for me personally, I've started doing some speaking kind of things that I've always wanted to do. And the groups are getting larger and larger. And I would never probably have done that if I hadn't started with a smaller vision that I stepped into and allowed to grow into something bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's such a great point, Neil, because one thing about visions and dreams is as you accomplish one, your confidence grows. And the next thing you realize, I can do something bigger. And that confidence. Look, even 2 years ago, I'd have never thought I can sail around the world, right? But now I'm like, I can do anything. And if I can watch all these people on YouTube doing it, I'm more capable than most of them at getting out of bed in the morning. So I can, your confidence grows as you accomplish things and like Crystal, perfect, you fail your way to success sometimes. And so, but yeah, it's awesome. As we're sitting there talking, I was looking at we have this board. I'll show you our messy office will die, but this is where we sit. So we had some kids, one of our qualifiers on the couch last night talking about, they were struggling and just feeling stuck. And what I wanted to show you is this vision board over here. I don't know if you can see the sailboat drawn on it, but that's our girl drew that about a year ago. And then they all come in and doodle on this board with their little dreams and what they want to do. So we have a hard time erasing it because it's inspiring to us. We love it. But anyway, some of our leaders were here last night, and this is something I just would pass on to you too, is as they kind of sat and said, oh, we're stuck and this, and that. And I said, tell me what you're reading. And they gave me that blank look, like, what do you mean what we're reading? I said, if you're not starting your day off with the right stuff, there's no chance of success. So I hope you're all finding good personal development stuff to be reading every day to fill your cup. You can't push out the darkness with anything but light. And you've got to be bringing light into your life in the morning before everything else starts so that you can make sure you've got a good, inspired day. So just make sure that you're reading the right things, and you're going to have those times where you doubt. That's darkness, and the only thing you push it away with is light. And so that light needs to come from, in my opinion, a higher being and good uplifting material. So make sure you're bringing those into your life and helping create that vision. So.
Thank you so much, Burke, for being here with us tonight. I'm going to shut off the recording